And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7 o'clock here in Nashville, Tennessee, which means it is time to take a walk down the dirt road while the boys and me step that step and talk that talk on this week's episode of That Sawyer Brown Show. As always, you are joined tonight by me, Madison. I am Mark's firstborn and favorite daughter, and the rest of the incredible Sawyer Brown Nation. So grab a strong glass of iced tea or hot tea if you are freezing like me. Settle in and get ready because look who just walked in the room, the men of the hour, or so they tell themselves, Mark and Hobie.
What's up?
Hello.
Or Diet Coke. Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Because I know this water will freeze in about 15 seconds. So right here.
I mean, we're talking about the snowpocalypse.
It is freezing here in Nashville. I know it is almost everywhere in the country, but the great news in our world is we actually are going to go out and play some shows this week. We will leave here
tomorrow night,
ice picks in hand. We will get ourselves to the road.
Can I say it?
Yes.
We're going to Jackson.
Wow.
Wow.
Just
Yeah. Jackson, Mississippi.
We will be at Dixie National Radio on Thursday. And then on Friday at the Newberry Opera House in Newberry, South Carolina. Yeah. Yes.
Do you mind if I tell everyone kind of what we got planned for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So as you guys know, the awesome members of the Sawyer Brown Nation that tuned into 2 weeks ago, our very first ever That Sawyer Brown Show, this is just going to be a fun live airing every other week that we're going to talk all things Sawyer Brown. We're always going to have Mark and Hobie, some special guests, some fun faces. We're always going to show some really fun clips, talk about some great memories, some great songs, some great stories. And this week is going to be all about, drumroll, Star Search, because actually on this day, February 16th, I don't even want to say how many years ago and embarrass you two guys, but in 1983, y'all won Star Search on February 16th. So it just felt like we had to talk about it, right?
It's absolutely written in the stars that we had to do this tonight. Yeah.
And I see, Dad, you managed to rustle up a Panama hat. Good for you.
I brought up the Panama hat. Hey, this is the original Panama hat that I wore on the show.
No.
I was about to say, no.
I don't want to burst anybody's bubble here, but no, it's not.
This is like the 141st Panama hat.
Hey, Hobie, where's that really cool piano scarf?
I know. Well, I'd like to say I gave it to Ed McMahon, which is true. I did give him one of my piano scarves. The other, I have to tell you, I can't quite put my hand on where that thing is right now. I've narrowed down what corner of the garage it is probably in the boxes, but I couldn't find it. So next time, maybe.
Okay, well, we'll forgive you just this one time. Just this one.
Okay.
Okay, so I kind of want to ask you guys a couple of questions, if you don't mind, to get started, because obviously I wasn't there. What even made you guys audition for the show? What was that process? Because Star Search, that was the first ever actual contest television show, right?
It was, but we actually didn't know that we were even auditioning. We thought we were there just to make a video that they were going to give us to send to a club in California that was going to hire us, but they wanted to see us before they hired us. Mm-hmm. So we were told by our booking agent that there was this outfit coming to town and they were going to videotape us and we could have the tape. Now, when we get there, we see that it's a Star Search audition. Now, because Star Search actually had not even aired yet, we didn't even know what that was. But it was the actual Star Search audition. And long story short, we showed up to just get a video, and we ended up making the audition. And that was on a Friday. The following Monday, they called and they were flying us to LA. And we were put on the very next show, which was, I think, show number 6, something like that.
Season.
Yeah. And then we were actually on for the rest of the season.
So wait, so what was that like, Hobie, when you got who got the call first, I guess, to say that you guys had actually made it on the show?
The call that we were going to do it, and he calls and says, "Man, they've they picked us to be on Star Search on, next week. We're going
Well,
to go to
you
California.
were the only one home. I had to go find everybody else.
Yeah.
And that was before cell phones.
Yeah. And he said, we're going to California next week. And I'm like, dude, I don't have enough money to fly to California. I have like $50 in my bank account. And he's like, no, you don't understand. They're going to fly us to California. They're going to put us up in a hotel, and they're going to give us $35 a day for food. That's all I could hear. I don't even eat $35 a day worth of food. So I'm like, already I feel like I've hit the lottery. So we indeed, like the Beverly Hillbillies, rolled into LA that following week and stayed at the Hyatt on Sunset, also known as the Rock and Roll Hyatt, where Little Richard lived, where
Led Zeppelin threw the television into the pool. Very famous.
Quite legendary.
We didn't do that much damage.
We were, yeah. We were worse.
We were scared. We were scared to death.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so who else would have been there though? Like, I mean, Led Zeppelin didn't throw the TV in there while you guys were there, right?
No. No. While we were there, we did meet Little Richard while we were there. And
it's right next door to the comedy club. So the comedy store. So we saw on a nightly basis Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Andrew Dice Clay,
Bob Saget, way before doing an act.
No way.
Sam Kinison.
We would see these guys like, every night.
And you just never knew who would show up. The night that Eddie Murphy came in, and most people, you did like a 15, 20-minute set. Eddie Murphy did like an hour and 15 minutes. It was like, there's no way we are actually seeing this. And it was incredible because we went almost every night.
That's crazy. So we're like, who else would have been on the show with you? Because I'm assuming that you guys would have like befriended people that were also on the show, and obviously
that was the great thing about that year was everybody was working in whatever their field was. None of us had gotten a big break yet. But
Brad
Garrett, who
from Everybody Loves Raymond, he won the comic category. And was really a great guy.
Yeah.
And also very funny.
No way. Not him.
Yeah. We gotta give props to our girl Tracy Ross.
Tracy Ross, the ever beautiful Tracy Ross, won the spokesmodel contest.
And she was on Passions for years and a major movie star.
Yeah. Yeah, and tons of modeling movies.
I hope she's not watching it and that she heard me say that.
Sometime we need a show with just Tracy because nobody keeps your dad in line quite like Tracy does.
And I'd love to have her on.
Yeah, but it was just a great experience. Everybody on that show that year, we genuinely had a lot of laughs. It was just a lot of fun.
Well, I'm just noticing here that someone said that Mark has dance moves like Little Richard. So any inspiration?
That's a compliment.
That is a badge of honor.
That's a compliment. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, did you guys think that you guys were going to win it?
No.
Considering you didn't even know it was a TV show you were auditioning
for.
Well,
a quick story. I mean, when we went to a blocking rehearsal, everybody else had just done their act one time, and we did ours, and the director wanted us to take a break and come back and do it again. So we just assumed that he didn't like the song, and maybe that we were going to get bumped. And I went over and said to him, I said, listen, man, we got 100 songs. I said, we've came all this way, at least let us be on the show. Cause I started getting paranoid, and so he said, no, man, I want you to do that song. And it was Smoking in the Rockies is what we had auditioned with. And that was what we did on the first episode. He said, I want some people to see you. And he goes, I want you guys to do exactly what you just did. And so these people came in, and you have to understand, like in a blocking rehearsal, it's in a dance studio. So there's just all mirrors, and we're standing there with air guitars, faking what we're supposed to be doing. So you feel stupid anyway. And these people watched us, and they kind of had their arms, and they went like this, and they looked at the director and kind of nodded. But at least we knew that they wanted some people to see us, and we didn't know what that meant. But we didn't have a clue we were going to win it. But once we got into it, we knew we wanted to win it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I don't, I think no one was more surprised that we even got on the show to begin with than we were. So it continued to be an amazing adventure. And the director, a guy named Tony Sharmley, was just, had been in the business for forever and worked with everybody. And he loved what it was we did. He loved our energy and went out of his way to make sure they could try to capture that in a minute and a half.
Awesome. Well, speaking of all these awesome pictures that you guys were talking about, I might have found some, and I thought that the rest of the Sawyer Brown Nation would get just as much of a kick out of them as I did. So let's move into our awesome next segment where Mark and Hobie react to random things Madison has found and they have not seen in decades. So without further ado, let's throw up some.
That's a blocking rehearsal.
Oh my God.
And the man with his back to the camera is Sam Riddle, who was one of the main producers of the show, who was a very deaf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's us.
Hey, I had hair.
And I've never known all of us to seem to be paying attention to anything like we seem to be paying attention
Yes.
right there.
Yes.
Amazing. So is that what you have to sit there, like you said, like with, air guitar?
Yeah, like this and pretend like we were playing, and they said, well, now what are you going to do? And, and I never knew what I was going to do. So.
Well, you still don't.
Right.
Yeah, nothing's changed on that.
Okay, let's throw up another one.
Okay, I remember this. This is in the lobby of the Rock and Roll Hyatt, the Hyatt at Sunset. This is three studs who are about to go to their first rehearsal. Our first rehearsal there.
I got a different interpretation of that. Can you bring that back up? That's me saying I got to get away from these two guys, and I'm out of here, people.
And I'm standing there like, surely someone is going to discover me. But
I remember thinking, Hobie, that is so much swagger in one stand.
Right? I'm smoldering.
Yeah.
I'm smoldering right there. And I think I had someone take that picture because I thought we're not going to be back here. So I want to capture every moment of this.
Okay, throw another one up. These are too good.
Okay.
Oh, there you have it.
Yes, that's rehearsal there on the set.
Yeah.
Is that a Mark Miller high stepping in some awesome high shorts?
Shorts,
all of the 80s.
Those are John Stockton's, baby.
Wow, that's some strong shorts.
Those are John Stockton's. Wow. That's all I can say.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And then this one, is this another one of you guys rehearsing?
That's another one of us rehearsing. And I've got to tell you, the guy who's sitting down right in front of the stage, his name is Kip Lennon. And he is in one of the most incredible bands you'll ever hear, called Venice. He and his cousins, if anybody remembers the band the Lennon Sisters, that's part of that family. And Kip was one of the sound men there. And he and his siblings and cousins, again, check them out. They're called Venice. Unbelievable, like Beach Boys harmonies.
Where did you get these pictures?
Yeah, I find things. What can I say?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, I think we have a couple other ones real quick.
Oh, this is the whole
one. This is
wow.
That's familiar faces in it. So I wanted to ask you guys about this.
Yeah, that's the night we won.
That's Brad Garrett in the back. You can see Big Brad.
Towering above everybody else.
Brad's 6'9".
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's not standing on a box or anything. He's just that tall.
And that's Ed and his wife.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
And Victoria.
And Hobie is next to Tracy Ross.
Yeah.
I'm next to Sam Harris.
And
Mark and Laura Sellers are on the end, the right hand, and that's Bobby, our guitar player, on the left. That's him.
Yeah, and the beautiful Monica Page there next to Ed McMahon, who won the female vocalist category. An incredible singer. Singer.
Wow.
So yeah, that was.
You really dug deep, Madison. Wow.
Deep cuts, guys. Deep cuts.
That was hard to take it all in. We really could not believe that this thing had just happened and had no idea what it might mean going forward.
Well, I have a couple other things. Guys, I had way too much fun with this. Maybe it was the nostalgia for the 80s. Maybe it was because I was snowed in. I don't know. But I had a really fun video for you guys that I can almost guarantee neither of you have seen in literally 30 years.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
This is the wonder of the internet.
Wow.
I have actually found the video of you guys performing Smoking in the Rockies for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Are you ready?
I'm scared to
I'm
death.
not sure.
I'm scared to death.
Throw it up.
Lights go down, and Junior hits the stage, and everybody's up on their feet. Well, Haggard and Jones are out in San Antonio, got them sitting on the edge of their seat. Well, now Dolly's out in Hollywood, Willie went to Washington and sang on Slaking You See. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies. Well, everybody loves to hear them country boys sing. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies, all across the USA. Well, CDB is down in Tennessee, jamming the night away. We're down in Savannah, they're digging Alabama, and Jerry Lee's in Colorado Springs. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies. Everybody loves to hear them country boys sing. Well, the Oak Ridge boys in Chicago, Illinois, Elvira had them climbing the wall. But folks fly from Boston all the way to Austin to hear Waylon Wilson song. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies, all across the USA. CDB is down in Tennessee, jamming the night away. Go down in Savannah, they're digging Alabama, and Jerry Lee's in Colorado Springs. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies. Well, everybody loves to hear them country boys sing. We got them smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies, smoking in the Rockies, rocking in the Smokies. Well, everybody loves to hear them country boys sing.
Okay. First, I cannot blame my behavior. I can't blame my behavior at the piano on my parents. They were good people. They tried the best they could. And I should point out that one of my $35 per diems was spent on that sweater that I had on. I thought that thing was pretty cool.
Wow.
I did.
I mean, guys, I'm just saying that was a strong performance for you guys to bust out there on the national
Well,
scene.
you know what? As I'm watching it, all I can think of is how nervous I know I was.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, and for it to come out, whatever was coming out of my mouth, I kept thinking, I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
So are you
truly could not believe we were there. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
crazy? So how many weeks were you guys on the show then?
We were on 12 or 13 weeks, I think it was.
I mean, from the time we got on, we pretty much won on out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out there a total of 6.5 months.
Wow.
And when we won the first night, we really didn't know what the show was all about. And they came and told us that we won, and we all had these strange looks on our face. And they said, well, hey, you know, you got to get ready for the next show. The next show is going to be in 2 days. And we started looking at each other. And I remember, I think it was Steve Stark says, guys, what's wrong? And I said, well, we only brought enough clothes for this day and this show. And they flew us home on a red eye that night. And they said, you might want to bring back a lot of clothes. And so we did end up being out there for 6.5 months total.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I don't know if other fans, I'm sure like true Sawyer Brown Nation fans will know the song that you guys won All of Star Search with, and that was Step That Step.
Was it Step? I don't honestly. We did perform Step.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was what we did on the very last. I can't remember.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think it might have been Step, but don't quote me on that. Maybe YouTube guys. I don't know.
Hey, listen, you're not going to argue. We're not going to argue
Yeah.
with you. I do know we performed Step on Star Search. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was the final or not.
That is so funny to me that you guys don't remember which song you won with.
No, but I remember spending $35 on that sweater.
we did a lot of songs.
Okay. Well, I also thought that it was really fun, the music video that you guys did for that, because that would have been like, I mean, so you guys kind of go from like, you can't, you just wanted to get a videotape to book a club in California to all of a sudden you've won this major national television show. You are signed to Capitol Records and you are doing like a massive production on a music video. What was that like?
Well, the wild thing was there really wasn't a giant outlet for country music videos. VH1, the pop network, played an hour of country videos on Saturdays. And so it wasn't like at that point, there was no CMT, TNN, anything like that. So we go to do this video
But now we were signed when we signed with Capitol Curb. It was a joint venture, but we were assigned to LA. So we weren't even assigned to Nashville. So our first video and our first 3 albums, we dealt with everybody out of Los Angeles. And if you ever see the iconic, circular tower that Capitol Records, that's where we would report to when we went to LA. And they were responsible for our video. So our first video budgets were huge budgets, and they were on film with a film crew. And you have to understand, when we were doing Star Search, we had no idea the impact of this show. We just didn't, because you're in a studio, and there were probably, it looks a lot bigger than it is. There were probably 100 people there. So to get to do the show, sign a record contract, and then all of a sudden we're shooting our first music video. It was pretty wild.
Okay, I do have to report in. James from YouTube has said that he believes it was Back to Indiana. He thinks that was a song that you guys actually sang when you won the big prize.
Oh, okay. Going back to Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
Because I know we did that, and we also put that on the first album.
Yeah.
It's on the first album. So that very well could have been.
Okay, well, before we move on, I just really thought, and get to some awesome fan questions that some fans had sent in on Facebook, I thought that we would be remiss if we did not watch Step That Step, because I won't lie, I almost spit out my drink when I saw this, and I felt everyone needed to see it.
It ain't street car jumping and backbeat bum and get along like it in there. You hold your head up high like you're gonna fly. You take the better till you find the street. And when you got that crowd and you're screaming loud, you leave sitting on the edge of the seat. Oh yeah, you gotta step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing, honey, talk that talk. Time to rest, and you gotta feel blessed, cause you're gonna get it anyway. And when you start to wail and your face turns pale, you gotta pump until you miss the box. And as your ego flew, baby, so will you, cause you're climbing on the way to the top. Oh yeah, you gotta step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing, honey, talk that talk. Step, walk that walk, shake that thing, honey, talk that talk. Step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing,
I mean, what can you say?
Breakdown.
Hey, I just want to point out a girl
Yes.
carried Hobie off
Yes.
in
Yes.
that video. A girl.
She did. And then I caught back up with the guys a year later, and you know, it happened.
Wow.
I also point out that was Gallagher, the comedian Gallagher, that was in the video. And the way that happened was, again, at the Hyatt on Sunset. We were there having breakfast. Gallagher walks over to the table, said he'd seen us on Star Search. What do you got? And said, what are you doing in town? Said, we're doing a music video. He goes, I've never been in a music video. Can I be in your video? We were like, I don't know. We've never done one before. Sure. Why not? So we show up and tell the director, oh, yeah, by the way, you got to find something for Gallagher to do in the video. So you never know what's going to happen.
That's amazing. Okay, well, I'm very happy that Dave brought this up on YouTube. He said, what was the reason for Hobie wearing a Cincinnati Reds hat? Because to be terribly honest, that you wore that hat, I know, on like a bunch of album covers and different photographs and stuff. And Hobie, you're not from Cincinnati.
I am not from Cincinnati, but actually some of your dad's cousins gave me that Cincinnati Reds hat. And yeah, I wore that on the first album. I wore it. Oh, man.
Hey, and you got to understand, if my cousins give you a hat,
you wear the hat.
You wear the hat.
You don't question it.
How you ended up with
And then it was like, I'm like, all these wonderful things that happened in our career. I'm like, it's the hat.
Yeah.
I keep wearing the hat. It's all about this hat.
Oh, man. So actually, Dad, how did you end up wearing the Panama hat? Because that is actually a burning question I have before we start getting into the fan questions.
Okay. A guy in Jackson, Mississippi. We were in the club and we were playing, and he had this. I think this is like called a Mississippi, like a gambler's hat, and he had the hat, and I just thought it was the coolest hat, and he just handed it to me, and it looked good on me, and that was pretty much simple as that.
Yeah,
I like it. You literally went up to a guy and said, "Hey, I like your hat," and he gave it to you.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, whoever that was.
Yeah.
In the club in Jackson, Mississippi, at the Ramada Inn Coliseum.
And guess what? You're going back to Jackson.
Going back to Jackson.
Full
I know.
circle, friends, full
We're
circle.
going to play right across from the parking lot of where I actually got that hat.
It's exactly right.
Thursday night.
Hallowed ground. Okay, well, let's get into a couple of fan questions off of Facebook. So Teresa Clark had asked what motivated you to go on Star Search, but you guys kind of answered that. Alice had asked what it was like auditioning for the show. Sorry, Alice, I already asked your question for you. And then Kelly Leek says, how did you feel the first day on the show? And I'm guessing just nervous.
Really nervous but we've had no pressure on the audition because we didn't think we'd get there.
And we didn't, honestly, we didn't quite understand the whole concept of the show, what was going on. Number one, it was the very first talent show. And we were going to get paid by AFTRA, which was, I think, like $1,500 a piece. So
I need to point out again, I had $50 in my bank account.
So you guys are like, whatever happens, this is awesome.
Right? Yeah. There was
we get a free trip to LA. We're going to be on TV, and we're going to make $35 a day to eat. They're putting us up at the Hyatt, and we're going to get $1,500. So you know, that really kind of that's all we were thinking. And now once we got into the show, our competitive spirit kicked in. Yeah. And we were having such a great time. And we were starting to feel the impact of the TV show. Mm-hmm. Like I remember after the fifth show, the five of us went to the Beverly Center, which is a big mall in West Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And we had to get the security guard. The security guards had to come because we were recognized, and there created quite a commotion. And the security guards had to come and like take us through the tunnels and get us back to the hotel. And that's how we knew that this show was having like a huge impact.
Yeah, I don't think in the beginning we realized what it meant to be on television.
On national television like that.
Well, this is another question about just the enormity of the show. Brian asks, what was Ed McMahon like?
He was awesome. He and his wife were both incredibly kind to us from the very beginning. His wife at the time was from Texas, and so she loved country music, and the two of them were great to us. I visited with them every single week, every week that we taped the show.
And, you know, Ed was a guy. He had the coolest dressing room. Of course, he had the biggest dressing room, and the door to his dressing room was always open.
Yeah. And
if you were coming by, you could stop in and sit down and chat with him, or he would invite you in. He would say, "Hey, come on in." And I do remember this is the first time he liked to get his toes done.
I know, we never even seen this.
He would sit there and they would have, someone doing his toes, and he would sit there and talk to us like, there's nothing going on. That's the first time I saw a man get his toes done.
We didn't even know that was a thing, man.
Hey, I'm just telling you get one pedicure, you can't come back from that.
I know. Ask Charles Barkley.
Ed knew. He knew it was up. Ooh, this is a great one. Pam asks, did any of the other acts you competed against go on to have a music career also?
Well, I'll tell you, the band that we went up against in the finals, which was a female trio named Hot, they actually had a huge hit record when I was a senior in high school. It's called The Angel in Your Arms This Morning Will Be the Devil in Someone Else's Arms Tonight. And so they had actually already had a big hit. And then I think had another record came out even a little bit.
Well, and of course, Sam Harris, who won the male vocalist, and Sam was just one of the most incredible performers and singers. And Sam, he was actually the first Caucasian white guy, I think, to sign to Motown Records. And as a result of being on the show, and he had a big pop hit called Sugar Don't Bite.
Yeah. And
then Sam made a couple records, but then Sam moved to New York and became a huge musical Broadway star.
Yeah, Broadway star. He's actually written a couple of books, one nonfiction, one fiction book. So Sam's done a ton of stuff. Yeah. Tracy's been everywhere. Brad Garrett. But in music-wise, Monica Page, who won the female vocalist category, she was in a trio called Lady Flash, who had some records out, and also was toured with Barry Manilow for forever. So
Mark Sellers was in Thriller, the Thriller video.
Yeah. Oh wait, what? No one's seen that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And Mark was in that, and I think he toured with Michael as a dancer.
Yeah.
And Mark and his sister Laura won the dance competition.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool about Star Search was that you guys were on there with so many different people, or different types of entertainers, and that's like a really cool kind of spin that I guess you don't see that because American Idol,
right?
Solo singers,
yeah.
So it's really interesting that you guys have this totally different perspective, and there were so many winners because every category had a different winner versus how some shows today there's just one winner, so it kind of pits everyone against each other.
Yeah, and it was so cool because everybody was out there working in their field. They just were trying to get that break. And
there's a little bit of the foxhole mentality that we are the only ones that share this one experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's kind of a camaraderie among us. Anytime I know we see each other, though it's been many, many years, there is that time that it's when we all really had nothing.
Yeah.
And we were just scratching and clawing and trying to make something happen. And when you share that experience together, and then you get to go on and enjoy and root for everybody and their success, it was a pretty cool class.
It was
of folks.
Okay, well, from YouTube, another great question. Tracy wants to know, Mark, what was it really like dancing to Step That Step in those pinstripe pants? How did we miss talking about that ensemble, sir?
I had those pinstripe pants made, okay, just so you guys know.
Well, they did not look like they came off the rack, I'll tell you that.
And so you see me back the backwards jump up onto the speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason the director who I think had a few martinis,
Yeah.
decides that he thinks it'd be cool if I jump off the speakers. So now you have to understand, you know, I grew up a basketball player, an athlete, and, you know, I'm thinking, okay, that doesn't look too bad until I got up on the speakers. I get up on the speakers, and it's about 16 feet down, and he's going, this is going to be great. and you know, since I'd already gotten up there, and you know, I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and
Go
jump.
for it.
But
Oh,
yeah, so they probably had to do it backwards because I probably had to like hit and roll.
I was about to say, and somehow those pants didn't rip.
Hey.
Yeah.
It was the 80s. I look good. You gotta admit, hey, everybody out there, you gotta admit I look good.
Could that video look any more 80s if it tried? I mean, oh my gosh.
It's amazing. I mean, truly and honestly, that's like a national treasure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one quick last one. Ramona asks, do you have any funny or embarrassing stories from Star Search? Hobie, I am looking to you to rat Mark out.
Well,
Or vice versa.
I got one story. Now it's, you know, when I would get really nervous and we were getting ready to go in. Now Ed McMahon kept a pitcher of water on a chair and some paper cups, and I got really thirsty and decided I was just going to steal some of Ed's water. It's not water.
It's not water.
It's not water that Ed. And it's pitcher.
No, you know,
I don't know if I should be telling that, but it's not.
You know, after a man's had his toast done, he wants a little something stronger than water.
It wasn't water. I had to spit it out, and I think flames came out.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Okay. So we have a lot of other good questions. I am so sorry, guys. I mean, like, you guys were amazing on Facebook this week. So those questions are just going to have to wait until next week because we're kind of up against it. And we need to make sure that everyone knows all about the amazing things that you guys have coming up. So cool. I'm going to go ahead and say a huge thank you to the whole Sawyer Brown Nation for coming out and hanging out with us tonight on this very snowy, very cold night for a lot of the country. We have loved taking you guys down memory lane, back to the Star Search years. Finally, maybe I will admit that they are the original American Idol. Pains me to do that, but I will. So a few things before we have new music and sign off for the night. First up is the concert calendar. This week, the boys will be in Jackson, Mississippi, as we have said, this Thursday, performing at the Mississippi Coliseum. And then this Friday, they'll be in Newberry, South Carolina, at the Newberry Opera House. So please make sure to go ahead, get your tickets. If you guys haven't already done so, guys, we need a little bit of fun. It's been kind of a weird year, maybe. I don't know. Things have been going on. So go ahead and get your tickets, come out and have a great time. Please make sure that you are keeping up to date with everything Sawyer Brown on Facebook and Instagram. We ask a lot of questions for your chance for the guys to answer them on the shows. You guys have been asking great ones. Keep it up. We'll keep Mark and Hobie answering those questions. Also, we are going to be having some fun contests and giveaways in the weeks to come. So again, make sure that you are always checking in daily, Facebook and Instagram for that. If you go ahead and like the Facebook page, you will also get a handy dandy notification and you'll be the first to know about all the fun things that are happening. As always, please make sure that you are checking the tour schedule weekly. Guys, it's COVID and the snowpocalypse. Things are always changing, but what isn't changing is that Sawyer Brown will be coming to your neck of the woods in the near future. So please make sure that you are going to the Sawyer Brown website, that's sawyerbrown.com, and checking out their tour schedule because these tickets are going to go fast and you guys need to have fun and relive all these great memories from all of the past years of Sawyer Brown fun. So again, make sure that you are checking the tour schedule and make sure that you're loaded up on your Sawyer Brown swag so that everyone knows you are a proud member of the Sawyer Brown Nation. Keep checking social media because I might have been inspired to have a couple of throwback shirts that I think all of us are going to want to wear. Okay. Well, as always, please make sure that you're sharing this video with everyone. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, share, like, comment on the videos. Guys, do all of the social media things. These are good things. We need it to happen. We need everyone to know exactly when Sawyer Brown is going to be in their neck of the woods. So make sure that you are sharing is caring, friends. So share that video, like it, comment, all the things. Mark and Hobie, back to you guys for this. What new music do you guys have this week?
About Star Search era songs and songs we did on the show. We relived those awesome striped pants of your dad's in the Step That Step video. So it really does seem like
We should play our first #1 record.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Step That Step.
Live from right here.
From right here. Just for you.
Okay, Sawyer Brown Nation, it has been wonderful. Stay warm, stay safe. And as always, we thank God for you.
1, 2, 3, 4. Mama told me when I was 3, Lord, straight will never get you nowhere. It ain't straight car jumping and backbeat bomb and get along like it isn't there. Hold your head up high like you're gonna fly. Take a bit of tea, hot and sweet. When you got that crowd and they're screaming loud, you're leaving sitting on the edge of the seat, y'all. Yeah, you gotta step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing, and honey, talk that talk. Well, Hollywood, if New York could keep you bumping till the break of day. No time to rest and you gotta feel blessed, cause you're gonna get it anyway. When you start to wail, when your face turns pale, you gotta bump your teeth, listen to pops. And as the eagle flew, baby, so will you, cause you're climbing all the way to the top. Oh yeah, you gotta step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing, and honey, talk that talk. Come on, Blue. Oh yeah, you gotta step that step, walk that walk, shake that thing, and honey, talk that talk.